Free your mind. Open up your blinded eyes to the lies the media stands behind as a disguise to twist and skew you in order to push you through the media machine, to wipe clean the morals and standards that you once stood for but sold your body to the government whores without even knowing it, because their seductive tactic is an incremental attack on your mindset to set the stage for a takeover. But we choose to overtake and understand as we stand under the original American flag that once represented freedom in those stars and stripes, but now has been replaced by the monetary love of cars and trophy wives, self-entitlement, whatever money can buy, whatever will keep you complacent to what's going on behind the scenes, using mirrors and smoke screens to keep us occupied. The government blames the crumbling of our foundation on religion, racism, hate speech, and narrow-mindedness. But in reality, they are the blinded ones with narrow-blindedness, with their blinders on, only seeing the story presented before them instead of opening their minds to the bigger picture being painted. They brush aside with every brushstroke and bury every potent word we have spoken. As society crushes our throats and crushes our hopes and crushes every note we sing that proclaims our liberty. The TSA and NSA are sick with the disease of power and have depicted veterans, gun owners, and Christians as the enemy through pushing their heretic false narratives, furthering the propaganda that we are the land of the brave, but we have become the land of the enslaved, and exchanged our moralities through bartering our souls with the moles that are buried below the fundamental principles of absolutes and God-given rights we are born into. But they have craftily stolen through creatively crafting a raft where they patch the holes with illusions that keep us afloat and moving downstream with the current of society's most current next big thing. And we fail to realize that we are all slowly sinking. The American way has been infiltrated by the TSA, who invade our privacy by touching our private parts, feeling like security guards as they touch and prod us like cattle, justified by the fraud of this terrorism battle. They put a cap on free speech, and if we react with the passion of normal human beings, we are labeled for being too extreme. These freedom scammers cram us into body scanners to take scandalous rated x-rays. They degrade and humiliate as they love to handle us, groping with their hands in our pants like we are animals, and watching us like hawks on cameras, because they salivate to be a part of the elite, licking their pork chops. These fattened pigs are propaganda livestock, sipping down every bit of fermented power. These cowards cower behind the government's cloud and pivot as they take advantage of a crisis situation. This is the world we live in, but we won't give in, even as they strip our clothes, strip our hopes, all on the basis of a war forged from lies. They set up roadblocks and blockades and treat everyone as a suspect, and the general public just accepts this infringement in our freedom and force people to cringe with fear and bend over. We're headed to the guillotine to be beheaded as we lose our minds with embedded chips in our brains. This is unprecedented and insane as they train us to be mindless zombies that walk around under the New World Order spell, who have respelled our country's initials from the USA to the NSA. A spy grid with cameras on the streets invading our privacy by tracking our conversations through the phone companies, tracking our personal information to build a database for a communistic nation, and replace the Constitution with something that's more fluid, throwing it out like garbage and flushing it down with the sewage. The mainstream news is drying up in the riverbeds that they made and now have to lay in, as the alternative media teems with life overflowing from the realization that we the people are the nation. We need to expose and poke holes in the cold-hearted hearts of those who have sown seeds of deception that's kept the public in the dark. Flip the light switch and bring illumination to the people who will listen. Stop preying on each other and stop praying for one another, because the only way out of this is if we band together and unite to fight the checkpoints and the checkbooks of the big banks of the global crooks. So grab your battle rattle as we rattle the cages, armed with weapons on pages, cause ideas are bulletproof in this information age. Our time is now to set the stage for our kids' future days and shape people away to the manipulation that's constantly but subliminally invading light, there is no darkness. And where there is no darkness, there is no harness. So become part of it, the solution instead of the problem. We need a revolution, but of a different kind. A revolution of the mind. A war that restores and rewarps the warped morals that we've torched. This is a war on the shorefront of our minds. The battle lines have been drawn between thought and action. So we're blasting our way through with facts and information that has traction. And realize that we've gotta act fast or we'll be left in the wake of the waves. So we stay awake and learn from the past. History of tyrants that silence their minds, that know the truth. They try to excuse their behavior and blame it on the culture, but they're just vultures, feeding on the deadened minds of those who choose to stay blind. So let's rewind the history of mankind and redefine wrong and right and rewrite up our future, cause it's in our hands. Rise up and be a man. Rise up and take a stand. Our time is now to take action. Instead of being one nation under fraud, we need to go back to being one nation under God.